Learn how to read the JSON data returned by the Open Weather API. Now that we have successfully connected to the API, let's understand the data it returns. The API sent back a JavaScript object containing many properties. So let's check again and click on console. Let me load the information again. Now, look at what it will return. You can see that this is a JavaScript object that contains many properties. You can see cloud, see all this information, coordinates, then we have main, we also have the SYS, we have the weather array, we have the wind object. So you can see that this is a bunch of information. The city name is stored in the data.name, and you can see this. So this is where the name is stored, and the temperature is stored inside another object called main. Yeah, this is where the temperature is stored. Look at it. You can see the temperature marks and the temperature main, and you can see the temperature. Look at it here. And also, we can access this by using what we have in our JavaScript, that is what is contained in the data here, .main.temperature. We can use that to access it. And the weather description is slightly different because the description is stored in an array called weather. If you come down, you can see it here. Look at it. See where the description is stored. And this one, as it is now, to get the first weather condition, we will use the weather and an index position, and then access its description property. Humidity is also inside the main object. Yeah, you can see this is humidity. While the wind speed is inside the wind object. See this? And instead of printing this entire response, let's just print only the values that we actually need. And so I'll close the console. And if you look at what we need from what we just displayed, we need the city name, we need the temperature, we need the weather, humidity, and wind speed. And so now that we know what we need from that response, let's go ahead and then extract them so that we can display it in our console. For now, we are still not putting it on the web page. We will display it inside the console. And this is where we are going to add it. So inside this other promise, this .then promise method, this is where we are going to return all that information. So the first thing is we already have the data, so we'll log the name, data.name. Go ahead and log the next thing, which is the temperature. And you can see that the temperature, like I said, you can see that this temperature, let me clear this and let me reload. Oh, yeah, because I've removed this from data. But let me quickly revert back so you understand what I'm talking about better. Now, look at this. The temperature is stored inside main. So you need to first access main before temperature. So let's get back. So this is going to represent the name, data.name. And for temperature, this is going to be data.main.temperature. And as for the weather as well, so the weather is going to be a bit different. Here in that we're going to be making use of an index to access it. Index 0. So the first thing and where it is located as well. So sorry, we don't want that. We want description, which is what we want to pick from it. And we also want to check the humidity as well. So after description, let's log humidity. Console.log humidity, and lastly, the wind speed. So let's check this inside the console. So now open the console. Open the console and click on it, then come up here. So let's clear it, and then let's make the request to the API again by clicking on search for London. And then you can see that we now have a clean and clear response being returned to us in our console. We have the city name as London, we have the temperature, we have the description, we have the humidity level, and we also have the wind speed level. So in this example, in this lesson, we have successfully learned how to read API response that is being returned when we make a request to an API service on the internet. So successfully, we were able to pick the core information that we need in our application, such as the city name, the temperature level, the weather level, the humidity level, as well as the wind speed. And so out of the didactic objects that JavaScript return, we only pick those information that we need in our own weather application. And this is also applicable to what you might be building in the future. When you make a request to an API service, it always returns that form of object. So you only need to pick the part that you need. You don't need to output that gigantic object or information in your application. So you just look for the part that relates or correlates with your goal or what you are building at a particular point in time, and you just extract those values from wherever they may be stored in the return objects.